Today we're going to be reading out some older IMDb reviews related to The War of the Planets by Antonio Margheriti. Firstly, from one John Seal, 5th of July 2004, gives it 4 out of 10. I've seen the future, and it is groovy. It's not even close to being the best spaghetti science fiction film ever made. Far from it, in fact, but Antonio Margheriti's War of the Planets is another refugee from TNT's 100% Weird, that recently popped up commercial free and sadly pan and scan on Turner Classic Movies. Starring American expat Tony Russell, who got his screen start as a bartender in Elvis King Creole, as the commander of Earth's Space Forces, War of the Planets is a very low budget story of alien invaders attacking our solar system from their base on Mars. The aliens, ever mindful of the filmmakers' need to keep costs down, are represented by dry ice and flashing green lights. The great Franco Nero co-stars, and there's a suitably spacey Angelo Francesco Lavagnino score. And we'll read this one. Cheap sets, boring script from Macabro 357 also on the 5th of July 2004. They probably watched the same broadcast. They gave it 2 out of 10. aka War of the Planets. Caught this one on TCM, of course, and is typical for Italian space operas of the time, with the notable exception of Mario Bava's Planet of the Vampires 1966. The main problems about the script is so poorly thought out that it was probably written as they filmed each scene on the spot, and the sets look so low budget that even Ed Wood did a more credible job of Plan 9 from Outer Space. Well, at least Ed Wood's film was entertaining, unlike this boredom. I find this a lot more entertaining than any Ed Wood's movies, to be honest. But anyway, aliens in the form of green smoke and flashing lights take over orbiting space stations around the Earth. It brainwashes some people into committing acts of sabotage, while others are just left immobile with a little green tinge up to their skin. I guess they did this to keep the film budget down. It's up to the Earth Space Force led by Tony Russell to save the world from the aliens, and with pretty Lisa Gastoni, as well as dumb number 2 Franco Nero, by his side, we are treated to one of the cheapest looking space battles in cinema history. I also noticed that this film has the MGM logo at the beginning of it. They must have been so desperate for product in 1965 that they had to resort to importing Euro turkeys like this one, besides which Anthony Margheriti did so much better in the horror genre that he should have stuck to it. Possibly, plausibly true. So if you're into MST3K type effluent, which I'm not, then this is the film for you. I like those sort of productions when they're restored for Blu-ray, but not always. And I enjoy them genuinely as imaginative, desperate, yet kind of DIY genre productions, energy and enthusiasm, and sometimes more imagination, or extensive imagination due to having to cut corners. I admire those films at times, and we'll read out one more for this particular title. Italian SF 60s style from Il Maestro Antonio Margheriti. This is from Gortix, Gortx, Gore-Tex, 18th of November 2005. One of the 4 Gamma Series SF films from Italy's Antonio Margheriti, not as wild as Wild Wild Planet, that's a pretty good one, but still fun in colourful low-budget vein. This time, the space crew has to battle a race of aliens who turn men into mindless slaves via a green gas, reminiscent of stuff going back to Invaders from Mars and It Conquered the World, not to mention the loosely concurrent Star Trek pilot The Cage. It has a visual flair that helps it move past a very slow middle act. But all cult films fans will at least want to tune into the first act, for it is certainly cinema's most bizarre New Year's Eve celebration of spacewalking astronauts literally spinning and floating in formation. And wait till you get to the big finale. All this to Italian 60s lounge rock courtesy of Angelo Francesco Lavagnino. The film shares with other Euro SF films of the period decidedly mod music sequences. The famous Star Wars Cantina sequence has nothing on this stuff, i.e. Germany's Space Patrol, and even something as sober as the Czech classic Voyage to the End of the Universe. I believe I know that film as a Carry XB1. That's a good one indeed. Far from classic, but it was a fun period in Italian SF, though one has to be careful when attributing dialogue to the dubbed USA versions. This one has a doozy. An astronaut has been taken over by the aliens, which sparks the comment, "He's gone galactic." Too bad the TCM print you are most likely to see isn't letterboxed, as so much of their vault is. The closing credits are letterboxed. In any case, I think we'll close it here. Thanks again, everyone. Appreciate it very immensely.